Hey, it's Alana from Indiecation. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so just bear with me, I guess. So I went to BrokeLA Festival. Yeah, that's a cat. I went to BrokeLA Festival this past Saturday, and I didn't know a lot of the bands that were on the featured lineup except for James Super Cave, Boyo, Emerson Starr, and maybe just a couple others. So it was like a day filled with music and art and dogs and food trucks and drinks and everything. So I wanted to get there early, so I got there right when basically they started letting people in around 2:30, and so I got there around 3. And the location this year was at the well, it was in East LA. Last year it was in the Arts District, so it was still kind of a similar venue setup, like warehouses and kind of industrial, right by like the train tracks with a bunch of graffiti and stuff like that. So it felt very LA, and it was interesting being back in East LA because I actually went to high school on the Cal State LA campus, so it was kind of a trip just being back there. I usually don't really have a reason to go back there anymore, so yeah, that was cool. Just parked on the street, walked over. I arrived on my own and then met up with a friend later and saw like a couple acquaintances there too. So that was cool. Um, and then when I got there, I checked out, like kind of got the lay of the land and saw all of the stages. So there was the main stage, which was the jungle gym that was outdoors. Then there were some stages inside some of the warehouses too, like the ball pit stage was kind of the smallest area, but they played a lot more kind of rock and electronic music. And same for the outdoor stage; it was more rock, guitar centric. And then there were a couple other stages inside. The swing stage and the bounce house were more like hip hop, kind of pop, R&B, and then the bounce house was like electronic. So I just kind of passed through those stages just to like check it out. It seemed to be a lot of space there. There was like seating in the back, which was cool. But I mostly went between like the ball pit stage and the main jungle gym stage also, because that's where most of the music I wanted to hear was coming from. And the ball pit stage was cool. It was actually um, I don't know if it's sponsored or something like that, but it was also known as like the Sunstock Solar stage. So the stage was like 100% solar powered, which was cool. And Sunstock Solar has a nice little festival coming up this year sometime, so feel free to check them out too. Um, so yeah, at the ball pit stage, some of my favorite performances really went on there. Like I saw Emerson Starr, which is a cool indie band. They're kind of dreamy. Same for Boyo, who I really liked. I'd seen them before opening for Surf Curse at the Glass House, so it was cool to see them again. And Rainer also. And let's see, there were a couple kind of fun, more like funky performances going on in there too, with like dancing and stuff like that. And that was like, who was that? Iconic and Dream Machines. They were a lot of fun to watch because they were just like dancing and had the whole crowd dancing too. Um, let's see, there were also dogs there. BrokeLA had a presence as well. They're like their mission is like getting dogs adopted, and so yeah, there were dogs to play with and stuff like that. So that was cool. Lots of people. Well, there were a few people walking dogs around too, so it was like a pet-friendly area also. And other than that, there were a lot of food trucks. There were drinks and stuff, and there was even a comedy stage out back too by the railroad tracks, which is kind of a cool little setup also. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, overall, like I'd say it was a cool experience. It was kind of a long day. I mean, my feet were definitely hurting by the end, but I was determined to stay through James Super Cave, and I'm glad I did that because I got to see some other bands that I wouldn't have that I had never heard of. So that was cool. Let's see, yeah, Blood Boy was another one that I really enjoyed. It was a female-fronted kind of indie pop act, and I really enjoyed this band called Velvet also, which, you know, it's kind of an unfortunate name because I can't find them anywhere on Spotify or social media or anything, but I did get to see them, and that was another female-fronted group, and she kind of reminded me of like Cherry Glazer and Chelsea Wolfe, kind of had a really nice stage presence too, so I really liked her set also. And I actually made a playlist of some of my favorites from the day, so feel free to check that out too. It's pretty short, and because most of the bands on the lineup, I feel like were, there was a good amount that were like kind of more hip hop or maybe even EDM and stuff like that. Like Brass Tracks played. I hadn't heard of them before, but they're from New York, and I guess they just do brass rearrangements for like pop and hip hop songs, which was, you know, it's fine. It seemed a little bit showy and like a little flashy and, you know, kind of repetitive too. So yeah, there were definitely times where I felt kind of stuck between stages, like, oh, I didn't know which act to see because I didn't really care for either of them. But there were definitely a few that made the day worth it. I mean, I think one of my favorites really of the day was Boyo. I mean, they had just such a musicality with their indie rock, so it was really cool. And Fellow Bohemian played earlier in the day also, and they were really fun to watch. The Ugly Sweaters were also kind of a high energy group too, so that was cool. But yeah, all in all, I'd say like it was a neat little festival, and this year they actually had it the weekend before Coachella. So maybe some of you know it used to be called BrokeLA, and then I guess Coachella didn't like that, so now it's a weekend before Coachella for all of those who are maybe interested in doing both. They can do that. I personally like doing Coachella, where I just watch it from, you know, live stream and everything instead of paying like $400 or something now. But this little festival was like $20, so really just no harm, no foul. And I'd recommend it for next year if you're in the LA area and want to check out some cool like local bands and also some other bands that you might not be as familiar with. So that's about it. So hope you enjoy my blog about this, and if you like what you're reading, feel free to subscribe to my blog Indiecation. All right, thanks.